Moving is a lot of work and can be very stressful and overwhelming to the point that you just don't even know where to begin. But it doesn't have to be. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to if you're new. My name is Brie Vlogs. I upload twice a week here on YouTube. I do some vlogs and then also some theme videos. So welcome. I have moved myself over 5 times. That's a lot for someone who's just 26. I have quite a few experiences where I had to move and have to be tactical and have to be organized because there's a lot of work with moving. But this video is going to help you out because I'm going to be talking to you about my top tips and things to think about and even some ideas of how to make it easier for you. So as some of you may know, but some of you might not, I thought this video would be the perfect time to film this because I'm in the process of hopefully moving soon, but I want to get ready and prepped for it. If you don't know, me and my boyfriend Spencer are going to be purchasing our first home this year, hopefully, ideally spring or summer. And again, we don't take it for granted. I always put that little disclaimer. I've never grown up in a house that I own, so you know, it's a big deal for us. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into these tips. Start earlier than you think. There are a lot of steps to moving, like I kind of just mentioned, and honestly, they can really creep up on you if you're not too careful. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, like the purchasing process can creep up on you very, very quickly. You know, maybe the home that's like perfect for you will come up earlier than you expect, and you kind of have to move things fast. So anyways, that's my first tip, is literally just start sooner rather than later. Tip 2 is to start a home furnishing list. So this is just an idea to keep you very organized in the moving process. So I started one on Notion, and this is my simple template. It's nothing crazy, but it does organize me. So you'll see that I have 3 sections right now, but 2 sections will probably be more relevant to you. There's one category that's things that I own, and the other one is things that I need. So you'll see there that I've listed them kind of by room of the house. It's not like super organized. Right now I need to fix it up a little bit, but I started listing items, all the stuff that we own, all the stuff that we have, so that we remember that we can all pack this and things. It makes me feel better knowing like, okay, we have this, we don't have to buy so much, you know? And then the list of things that we do need, and then I'll check it off as we buy it. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to buy everything on this list before we move, but it's a general idea of things that I should keep in the back of my head that we need. Like for example, there were a few kitchen items that we had on this list, but then they were on like a really good sale during the holidays, so we ended up buying it, so I got to check things off there. So yeah, I'm not actively looking every single day, but if I see a good sale and a good deal where I could save some money and I know I need it, then I'll purchase it right now. My next tip kind of goes with this one, but if you're unsure of what you should be putting on this home furnishing list, make sure to research some move-in checklists. I just did a quick search for myself on Pinterest. That really helped me. Some home furnishing checklists. There's some like first-time apartment ones. There's home ones. Really, there's quite a few things. There's a checklist out there for you, whoever you are. Just make sure you go look. If you're having a hard time filling in your home furnishing list, that will really help you. They really go in depth of like what kind of things you need for pots and pans and stuff like that, because if you're moving for the first time too, like there's stuff that you need that you might not even think about. So make sure to check those lists out. And of course you can add and remove anything that doesn't suit you. Hi everyone, if I look different, it's because I do, because I forgot to film this part somehow. And then I was editing the video and I was like, I need to film this part to include it. So another one of my tips when you're moving is to organize your process, start planning out your process. So there are a number of different ways that you can do this. You can do it on paper, if you have a journal, if you have a planner, but I really like Notion. So what I did is I searched Notion templates, and there is actually like a checklist, kind of like a timeline, stuff like that. So if you're looking at this timeline, for example, you'll see there are a lot of moving parts, but in your own timeline, you can make it however you want, of course. So things in your timeline you might include like when you're going to start looking for things, all the places that you are looking at, maybe you want to start linking them in there and categorizing them like, yes, this is a potential one, no, it's not. And then moving forward, maybe once you've picked that, then schedule how much time you have to pack. So by this day, do you need all your stuff packed? By this day, you need to book whatever you need to book. By this day, you get the keys, all that jazz. Honestly, just writing out the timeline and giving yourself that leg up about just knowing when you need to do everything and have everything completed, I think is a big help for sure. All right, the next tip is to start decluttering your space now. Did we hear that? Let's hear it louder for the people in the back. No, but really, I'm also trying to take this advice. So actually, last night, Spencer and I went through a bunch of my old stuff because I need to declutter. I had boxes from when I first moved out of my first like apartment in New Brunswick, and like there was old stuff in there. Like we got through a lot of stuff, but I still have things that I've just accumulated even in this place that I need to go through and make sure, like, does it suit my needs? Have I used this like within a year, within a few months? No, let's get rid of it, donate it, sell it, whatever works for you, do that. But just declutter your space as soon as you can, because when you start to pack things is when you start to notice, oh my gosh, why do I own all of this? And then you're like overwhelmed. So even yesterday, honestly, it was very overwhelming for me to go through all of that stuff, but I'm happy I did it because now I know I have, a few boxes less that we have to pack at the end of this. So declutter your space now. It'll save you so much time later, and especially because it's a longer process, right? And a lot of people, have some emotional attachments to stuff. So maybe you do it in steps. Maybe you do a declutter now, and then in a month from now, you can see how your feelings change towards it. So I highly recommend that. It just makes it easier for you. The less that you have, the less that you have to pack, the less that you have to unpack. And my next tip is keep sturdy boxes. So the holiday season just happened. If you have any boxes that you had gifts that you already opened, or boxes that you use to pack things, if they're good boxes, I recommend holding on to them, but only if they're good ones. You don't want to clutter your space. But I just recommend it because a lot of people kind of forget that when you move, oh, I need boxes. And honestly, boxes can start to add up where you're buying them. So that was something that I kind of didn't realize, that you'd have to buy boxes like way back, like 7 years ago when I was moving. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. If you're at the point that when you go move and you don't really want to buy boxes and you're living in a small town, I highly recommend going to like the grocery stores. A lot of the times they actually just give away their boxes if you ask nicely. So that's a good tip. And then also, if you're a Costco shopper, you know how they have the box displays? You're actually allowed to just take them when you're buying items with it. So like maybe if you see something that you think would be helpful for your moving expenses when you go and you're purchasing stuff anyways, just take the box with you. I think that's a really good idea. Kind of keeping with that same category, my next tip is that if you got stuff for the holidays, or if you're purchasing things for your new place, keep them packed. If you need to open it to make sure everything's in there, nothing's damaged, sure, but to the best of your ability, try to keep them already packed away. Like if you absolutely don't need to use them, just don't use them until you move. We've been doing that, and I think that's a really great idea, because when you open something and then you can never quite put it back in the package that it came in, like it's like they had this like magic that they used to friggin' put it in there, and now you can't do it anymore. Yeah, that sucks, because then you have to get a whole new box situation, or you're just like screaming at yourself like, why did I take this out of the box? Keep it in the box. It'll be neatly packed. You'll know where it is. It's safe in there because they pack it really nicely in case they have to ship it. I highly recommend it. The next tip actually kind of has to do with when you're actually packing them, but categorize your boxes when you're moving. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can do this, and I encourage you to look up, because there are so many ways. I am going to mention a few, but I'm definitely not mentioning all of them because there's a lot of different creative ways. But honestly, just after a quick Pinterest search again, and obviously you can Google it and maybe even watch other YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I just love Pinterest, so I did Pinterest. So after just checking Pinterest, there are a number of ways that people have done some really good categorizing of boxes. And the first one, and I think this one just kind of makes more sense for us, is color coding your boxes. Whether it's a piece of tape, maybe it's a big marker slash or something like that. Get something easy so you don't have to write everything out like kitchen or whatever, or you don't have to buy a million different stickers. A lot of people do that, which, I mean, no judgment. I did roll my eyes, but I swear, no judgment. It's just like, I don't want to have to purchase extra things when I'm already spending all this money on my new place, and just to avoid expenses. But yeah, some people just put a little slash of color, and then it's color coded. You remember what boxes are what color, just write it down to make sure that you have it. And I think that's a really quick way, especially if you have people helping out. You could text them all the colors. They see purple, purple's kitchen, they put it in the kitchen, no problem. So I like that one. There's other ones that people do, like QR codes. They print out QR codes that link to like a photo of the inside of the box. I think that's pretty neat, so that's a cool idea. And then the next idea is kind of a good one to do regardless of what method, but it's to keep inventory of your boxes. So maybe you're writing down what items are in the boxes in like a little, in like a sheet. You could categorize them, you can number them, or again, color code them that way. And then you know exactly what's in your boxes. Maybe you have that as a binder. Okay, so my next tip is to keep track of your expenses. Now I mentioned this, but moving can be a little bit expensive. Obviously you're either renting or you're purchasing. So Whichever one, it is a big financial commitment for sure. So you need to make sure that, you have enough money to live and also, do the things that bring you joy in your life. So you're going to want to start tracking your expenses. So whether that's moving truck or moving people, if you're doing that, or if you're purchasing boxes or things like that, or even the home furnishing part, like what budget are you giving yourself as an allowance to purchase new furniture if you need anything? I think that's a really great idea, because honestly, every time people move, there are expenses that pop up out of nowhere. And then I think it's kind of nice to see like where all your money is going, especially if you're already a budgeter. Like, it might be a shock that month that you move, you're like, whoa, wait, I haven't kept track. So I always think it's a great idea to keep track, and you can budget it, and then you'll know how much you're spending, because it can add up pretty quickly, and it's just a lot going on at once. So just knowing everything that's going on paper, I think, keeps you just really organized financially. So always a great thing to do. And my next tip kind of goes with that category as well, with the finance situation, but it's prepare yourself for the first month shock. Now, the first month shock, I refer to it as that, but it doesn't have to be this big, like, oh my gosh. However, if you're not aware of it, it can be. So especially if you're like a student moving for the first time ever, or just someone moving for the first time ever, the first month will always be probably your most expensive month when it comes to like groceries, utilities, even sometimes, and then also like household things. Because when you're first moving, you have to set up all of your, services. So sometimes service fees have an extra fee of just a setup fee. So just keep in mind that, like internet, phone, whatever. But also, you're moving in, if you don't already have all these things, like the supplies that you need for pantry items, for cleaning. So cleaning supplies can start to add up. Things that you need in your pantry, just like maybe paper towel, napkins, towels, stuff like that. Even so, like the pantry, like spices, maybe a spice rack, your cooking oils, your stuff like that, your condiments. So if you don't have all that, the first month is a little bit more expensive, because you have to get all these things that you're ready for the next few months and stuff, whatever it may be. So just keep in mind that in your budget, just, allow for a little bit more of an expensive month, because it's always just a little bit more expensive because you need to buy more things because you don't have them yet, which is totally normal. But knowing about that before going in prepares you for that. So better to be prepared going in, especially if you have a tighter budget. Okay, so the next tip actually kind of goes with the money again, but it's don't buy furniture before you move in. Maybe you went in and you took measurements and you know what the space looks like. Sure. A-okay, I think that's a great idea. Also, take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not like a moving professional. I think a lot of people get excited. Obviously, it's exciting to move sometimes, about their new space, but without going in and looking at it, and without actually knowing where you're moving, and without measuring, buying furniture can be a really bad thing, because it might be too big for the area, it might be too small, especially if you do care about these aesthetic things and functionality, basic things, I guess, in your apartment or house. The couch might not fit, the couch might be too big for the space, the couch might not be at an angle that makes sense for the space. So I highly recommend only doing that once you have measurements and you've seen it and you can visualize it in your space, because I do know a number of people that have bought stuff and then it doesn't really fit and it's not the vibe now, but they can't return it, / they don't want to go buy another thing because it's expensive to buy stuff. So anyways, I definitely recommend that you only do that once you know what the space looks like. And my next tip are 2 tips on how to like actually pack some items. If you can pack it nicely and it's not gonna like knock all over, keep your drawers, like if you're moving a dresser, keep your dresser actually packed the way you have it. If it's packed neatly, it's packed how the way you want it. Just wrap your dresser drawer and then stack them, so that when you go in your house, when you move into your house, you move in the dresser, then you can start plugging in your things and it's already packed. That can save you a lot of time, because folding clothes and putting away things like that can take a lot of time. The next tip also has to do with clothes, but if you have a lot of clothes like me and a lot of other people, and you have a lot of clothes that are hanging clothes can take so long. So big tip that I always have done every single time that I moved, and it saved me so much time, is take clothes from your closet in the hangers already hung, blah, 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 just a few of them each time, and then tape around the hangers, tape the neck of the hanger basically, and then you put a garbage bag, you poke a hole through the top so it goes through the coat hanger, and then you hold it, And then, so it's just, you're holding the hanger and then the rest is a garbage bag covering your clothes. That is a lifesaver. You just lay it down or hang it in the vehicle that you're using to move or walk with it, I guess. Hopefully you're not walking and moving. That seems like a lot. But that's just a really nice way so that when you get there, you take the tape off, take the garbage bag off, put it back. Aha! You know, it is kind of wasteful. But if you can use the garbage bags for, you know, something else, maybe you could duct tape the hole and then just use it for trash. So it does kind of use a lot of the garbage bags. However, it does save you so much time. Believe me. So those are my top tips for moving and keeping you organized throughout. I know this is maybe like a little bit of a niche video for people that are moving, but as someone who has to move soon, I like to share about my life, so I thought it'd be a great time to share these things. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to share it with friends and family if you know that they're moving soon, and I really hope you liked this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. I highly appreciate it, and thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next video.